Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. So today we have a battle against Irus, random person offline. And so yeah, looking at their team there, looks to be a pretty strong, pretty interesting looking team there. Mostly lower tiered as well, which is always nice when you're using one of those yourself. Looking at my team, it is the same one that I used in the last battle here. So, what do I want to lead with in this one? Good question. Um, I think we'll go with the Cyclizar in this one. Seems like not a terrible idea. And yeah, we'll go ahead and see how that works out. Alright, so it looks like he is going to go ahead and lead with the Hitmonlee, as we led with the, of course, Cyclizar. So, right out of the gate here, I think what we want to do is we probably just want to U-turn on this thing. Although a Dragon Claw could potentially take it out. Not sure if I want to risk that or not. But you know what? Maybe I will risk it. Let's risk it. Let's go for the Dragon Claw straight away. We know he should outspeed unless he's like Scarf or something. Or that, as he does go for the Fake Out. And it looks like he's going to be the good old Normal Gem Fake Out. So he does go ahead and do that. So we get flinched, we can't move. Normal Gem has activated, tripping his Unburden. I know that story very well. Used Hitmonlee many times myself. So we're definitely going to get out. Gonna want to get out of here now, as this thing surely will outspeed us. I feel like he probably goes for the fighting move now, so I believe we're just going to switch into the Hisuian Typhlosion. I don't know that that's a permanent solution to this problem, but that's what we're going to do as we go for the Hisuian Typhlosion, get our Regenerator on our Cyclizar here, as he goes for the knockoff, anticipating the switch. That is a very smart play on their side. That's just going to get rid of my Hisuian Typhlosion outright and knock me down to 5 Pokemon. So that is obviously terrible for us. Now at this point, I feel like our best option is probably going to be to go ahead and come in with the Conkeldurr, so that's what I'm going to do. Definitely a little bit of a rough start in this one, but I think, how do we want to play this? I think we are going to... What do we want to do here? I feel like going for Drain Punch is a relatively safe play here, so we're just going to go Drain Punch, see what he wants to do. He does just go for an upper hand, interestingly enough, perhaps predicting the priority move on our side, but no, we're just going to go for the Drain Punch, which is actually going to go ahead and knock the Hitmonlee down to like 1 HP, but it actually gets a 1 HP survive on its own, which is pretty crazy. Now the question is, now do we go for Mach Punch? Knowing that he's got upper hand on the Hitmonlee, do we go for Mach Punch now? I feel like we do go Mach Punch now, because since we didn't do it the first time, he probably is going to think either we don't have it or that we're not going to do it this time. So let's do it this time and see what he does. So yep, we get him with the Mind Games. Perfect. So we do get the Mach Punch, takes the Hitmonlee out, knocks him down to 5 Pokemon. So we did definitely play around that quite well. I think kind of a good play to make up for a bad play there, as we are going to take some damage from the burn as well. Of course, we have the massive attack boost from the Guts now too, which is nice, as now he's going to come in with the Galvantula. So at this point, he could very easily go for a Sticky Web, get the entry hazard set up. I feel like he does that. I feel like he probably doesn't just attack us straight away. So we're actually just going to go for a knockoff here, as he does just go for the Sticky Web, get the entry hazard set up. Very predictable. As we are going to go for the knockoff in return here, is going to take this thing all the way down to a Focus Sash, but of course it does survive because of it, as we do take some more burn damage. Now this turn, I feel like he could very easily switch this thing out to try and save it. He could go into the Spiritomb. However, I think that's a risk worth making on our side, so we are just going to click Mach Punch here. If he saves a 1 HP Galvantula, which indeed he does, not the end of the world. But yeah, that is indeed what he's going to do. He's going to go ahead and switch directly into the Spiritomb, kind of as expected. And he does get us there with the free switch, because we did go for the Mach Punch, as we do take some more damage from the burn. Now, unfortunately, there is not a thing we can do to this thing. We could knock it off, but I don't really want to do that. So I think our best play, unfortunately, we don't know anything about the set here, but I think our best play is probably just to go ahead and come in with the Clef Key, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We don't want to take any big damage on the Conkeldurr. So going to go ahead and switch the Clef Key in on this, as he is going to go for a, first we do get caught in the Sticky Web to drop our speed, as he goes for a Psychic, which is completely fine. That is going to do a little bit of chip damage to us, not too much, and then we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers. So in this situation, we have an interesting choice to make, because we could definitely take this chance to set up a layer of spikes, which means that Galvantula will go down on the switch in. I don't believe he has any hazard removal on the team, so I kind of want to just go for the spikes here, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. And he does actually stay in, which is a little bit of a surprise, so we go ahead and get the first layer of spikes up, which is something, as he is going to go for a Snarl, interestingly enough, but he actually misses, which is really unfortunate for him. So trying to drop our special attack there, but that's not going to work, as we do get some HP back with the leftovers. Now, in this situation, I kind of want to, I don't really want to, as much as I would like to start setting Calm Minds, he has some pretty perfect counters for the Clef Key, so I don't really want to leave Clef Key in here for too long, so we're going to go for a Dazzling Gleam this time around. He does go for the switch straight away here, and he is going to go into the, of course, Iron Moth, kind of as expected. He does take some spikes damage, which is nice, and then he's going to go ahead and pop a Booster Energy, which is not good. That is going to activate the Quark Drive to increase his speed. So we do go for a Dazzling Gleam here. Unfortunately, it is X4 resisted, so it does basically no damage to this thing, and then we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers. So obviously we can't stay in on this match here. There's nothing we can do to this thing. So and unfortunately, because we lost our Hisuian Typhlosion, we really don't have any good switches into this thing right now, especially with the speed boost. So unfortunately, we're going to have to make a tough decision here. Yeah, this is definitely not a great situation to be in. How do we want to play this? I feel like we're just going to have to deal with the Sticky Web this game. I feel like we probably just have to switch the Cyclozar in here. I don't think we have any other choice. So we're going to switch Cyclozar in, because I think Clef Key is a little more useful for some of his other Pokemon. So we want to switch Cyclozar in here, and we are going to take the speed reduction on the Sticky Web. Even without the Sticky Web, we wouldn't be outspeeding this thing anyway. So that's not the end of the world, as he goes for a Toxic Spike, which is interesting. He's going to go ahead and get that entry hazard set up. So actually, that works out better than expected for us, because now, assuming we can take an attack from this thing from full, we can actually go for a Rapid Spin. So that's what we're going to do. He goes for another layer of Toxic Spikes. Very interesting that he would do that. So he's going to get the second layer of Toxic Spikes up, but that's not going to matter, because we are going to go for a Rapid Spin here, which is actually going to get a critical hit and nearly take that thing out, but he does just barely survive in the red, and we do get rid of all those hazards, the Toxic Spikes and the Sticky Web, so that is incredible. We take some Life Orb recoil damage, which is completely fine, and now I think there's no reason for us not to just go for another Rapid Spin, so that's exactly what we're going to do here, as he goes for a Protect, interestingly enough, just to scout us further, see what we want to do. I think it's going to be hard to say who outspeeds, or no, it shouldn't be hard because of the Sticky Web. So he's got the Booster Energy up, and we have the Sticky Web speed reduction, so certainly he is going to outspeed us here. But if he decides to go for another hazard, we just Rapid Spin it away, so we're going to do that. He does go for the switch. I did also think there was a possibility he might switch into the Spiritomb, and that's exactly what he decided to do. So he does switch the Spiritomb in, and he does take some spikes damage, but that's kind of fine, honestly. I'm okay with him getting the free switch. So, yeah, that's not going to do anything to him. Now, we're actually in a very interesting situation here because we could actually, in this situation, go for a Temper Flare because our last move failed. Temper Flare's power is actually going to be doubled. And as much as I don't think it's going to take him out, this situation is so rare that I actually kind of want to just do it. So we're just going to do it and see how much damage it does. That's going to be the play here. So there we go. We know we outspeed. There's the Temper Flare, doubled in power thanks to the fact that the Rapid Spin failed. Going to take him all the way into the red, but he does survive and go for an Icy Wind in return, which is not quite enough to take us out, fortunately. It does drop our speed, though. And now I think what we'll do here, because we want to get that Regenerator, is we're actually going to click U-turn this time around. He could switch as well, and in fact he does stay in. We go for the U-turn, which does go ahead and finish the Spiritomb off, dropping him down to, I believe, 3 Pokemon. We do take some Life Orb recoil damage there, but we do survive it, which means we get the Pivot and the Regenerator. So that is best case scenario for us, of course. I think what we're going to do here is we will come in... We'll come back in with... What do we want to do here? We'll come back in with the Clef Key. I think that's a decent idea. So we'll come back in with the Clef Key here. So there it is. And yeah, we'll see what he wants to do in response. But that definitely worked out very well for us. So Temper Flare shining is always fun. As now he comes in with the Galvantula. I'm not sure why, perhaps forgetting about the spikes, but he does come in with the Galvantula, and it is going to immediately go down to the spikes, which is fine, and that is going to knock him down to... Now, I think now he might be at 4. He might have been at 3 before, but he's going to go ahead and come in with the Iron Moth now, and that thing's going to go down to the spikes as well, so not 100% sure what he's doing here, just... basically sacking those Pokemon. I mean, I guess I would keep them around for fodder in case he needs a switch. But yeah, that's going to knock him down to, I believe, 2 Pokemon as he comes in with the Registeel. So take some spikes damage. And after all that, all those events took place, yeah, he's down to 2 Pokemon now to our 5. So I'm not sure why he just sacked those off so freely. I mean, of course, he doesn't have any way to remove hazards left. But yeah, I'm not sure why he wouldn't just save them for like a fodder switch. But in any event, we'll move on from that. And I think what we'll do here, because none of our attacks really do any damage to him, is we are going to switch out, and I think we'll just go back to Cyclizar here. This might be a sack play, but I kind of want to just get a clean switch into Conkeldurr at this point. So we'll go back to Cyclizar here and see what he wants to do, as he goes for an Iron Defense, which is not good. So that's going to go ahead and increase his physical defense, which is obviously bad news, and then he is going to regain some HP with the Leftovers. So I think the best thing we can do in this situation is just hit him as hard as possible with a Temper Flare, so that's what we're going to do here. And see what he wants to do. I don't know how much damage it will do since he's got that Iron Defense up, but we do outspeed. We go for the Temper Flare, and it does basically nothing to this thing, which sucks. We do take some Life Orb damage as he goes for another Iron Defense, so he's just going to go up to +6 defense right now, which is going to be a real problem. And then he is going to regain some HP with the Leftovers once again. So we don't really have anything to do except just keep going for Temper Flare here, so that's what we're going to do. We basically just have to let him take us out here so we can get a safe switch into something else. So we go for the next Temper Flare. We could always get a crit, which would negate his boosts, but of course we don't. Do a little more chip damage, as this thing is going to go for Body Press. So I guess he's not going up to +6, realizes that it's not worth it. So he is going to take us out with the Body Press there and knock us down to 4 Pokemon now, or maybe perhaps 3. I got to double check. So he does get some, yeah, so it's 4. So he gets us back, HP back with the Leftovers. Now, I feel like I just want to double check something real fast, which is not something I normally do in free games. But it should be relatively quick. I just want to check on how fast Registeel is, because I feel like Rotom outspeeds Registeel, which if it does is going to be big. So yeah, Registeel's speed is low. So yeah, Rotom outspeeds Registeel for sure, unless he's like a weird max speed variant for some reason. So we should definitely be outspeeding him with Rotom. So we're going to come in with Rotom, and I feel like we just nail him. We're going to have to keep nailing him with choice specs volt switches until he dies. That's kind of the plan here. So we do outspeed. There's a choice specs volt switch. Not enough to take him out, unfortunately, but it does do sizable damage, and we do get the pivot. So now we're going to pivot into... What do we pivot into to take a body press? I think now we'll go Conkeldurr, and this thing is low enough that we may, even with all those defense boosts, we might be able to win a war of attrition with Conkeldurr, but never mind, because the body press takes us out. so yeah, that was kind of a sack play that we had to sack something off to this thing to come back in with Rotom. So yeah, we lose Conkeldurr there, and we go down to 3 Pokemon. So now, once again, this is all we can do is come back in with Rotom here, so that is what we are going to do. And yeah, we have to hope that the next Volt Switch takes him out. I don't know if it does, honestly. I think it's going to be pretty close, but let's just go for it and see what happens. We go for the next Choice Specs Volt Switch. Not enough, which is really unfortunate. That means that we're going to have to keep sacking Pokemon, so that's bad. I think his last Pokemon is Regidrago, so I think we want to keep the Glastrier for that. So we'll switch in with the Klefki here. So we come in with Klefki as fodder here because we know he's just going to go for that +4 body press again. Definitely takes the Klefki out from that range. So he's really tightening the gap here with this Registeel. So now we're down to tied 2 apiece at this point as he gets some more HP back with the leftovers. The only good news is now we know for a fact that this thing's time is up because we're going to go ahead and switch in with Rotom, and we know that one more Choice Specs Volt switch is going to take this thing out, so we're just going to go for it. No reason not to. He could switch into Regidrago. I don't know what that would accomplish, but he could indeed do that if he wants to, and he actually does do that. So I think he might be actually able to survive one more switch in on the spikes damage with that Registeel if he wants to, but he switches in with the Regidrago here, and he takes some spikes damage as we're going to get a Choice Specs Volt switch on this thing, which is going to do some decent chip damage to it, and we are going to pivot out, and we are going to have to come in with Glastrier as it is going to be our only other Pokemon. So this is not a terrible matchup for us against this thing. We're definitely going to want a Terra to change our, get rid of all of our weaknesses against this thing, that's for sure. And I think we should, it's going to be an interesting situation because I want to go for either a high horsepower or an Icicle Crash, but the only problem is they both have the possibility to miss, although high horsepower has less of a chance to miss. So I think we're actually going to go high horsepower here. So we're going to go Terra Ground high horsepower, as he's actually going to go ahead and bust out a Terra of his own. So that's the other reason why I wanted to do high horsepower, because he's going to Terrastalize into a... What is it going to be? It looks like okay, so it is actually a pure Dragon type. There was the possibility he could have gone Terra Steel there to avoid... or to gain the resistance to the ice move, but no, he goes Terra Dragon as we are going to go Terra Ground here to lose all of our prior weaknesses. So this is going to be an interesting turn here, very critical turn. Let's see how it plays out here as we are starting to push the edge of the timer. He goes for that Dragon Energy. It is now Terra boosted, but he is not at full HP. How much damage does it do? We do survive with about a quarter HP. Can we hit the high horsepower? Yes, we go for the high horsepower. It is Terra boosted, and that definitely takes the Regidrago out from that range, knocking him down to just one Pokemon. So high stakes turn there, but it turns out in our favor, thankfully. We do get the Chilling Neigh as well to increase our physical attack, and then we do get some HP back with the leftovers. So Glastrier coming through for us there, hitting the 95 accuracy move, which shouldn't be as much of a nail biter as it is, but that is practice, as now he comes in with the Registeel, and he actually does, as I said, survive the spike damage with like 1 HP. We're just going to go close combat here, as he is going to go for a rest. So this is the one thing that could throw a monkey wrench into our plans here. So he goes rest, and that is going to go ahead and put him all the way back up to full HP. As we go for the close combat, he is asleep, and the close combat is almost enough to take him out, so I don't think he's going to be able to win this war of attrition here. We take some defense drops as he is going to regain some HP with the leftovers. We are also going to regain some HP with our leftovers. So it is right down to the wire. in both Pokemon and the timer, but we're just going to go close combat one more time here. He does outspeed us, but he's actually just going to go ahead and forfeit there, knowing that it is the end. So that is going to be game, as we are going to win that one. Technically 2-1 versus Irus, but that was a great match, actually. Very close, highly competitive. Just an all-around great game, actually. And yeah, definitely a roller coaster of a game as well there, but certainly, as I said, a great one. So that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.